Now, now,
Meanwhile,
I think we'll come to that.
yes.
We'll come to that.
So
Adam,
let
just
me
do
let
the
me do the
introduction.
introduction.
Let's
Where are
roll.
my manners? Where are my manners?
Mm,
Kachi,
mm.
it's an honor
Hi.
Get them
to
out.
have you on here with us. So this
Thank
is
you.
Daper Corner, the one and only.
Mm-hmm.
Now, for those that don't know Kachi, those that are sleeping under a rock, sleeping on bicycle, Kachi is a public health specialist slash expert. She goes on different forums, speaking all around the world, educating people on health related things.
Yeah.
And as God will have it, she's here in Sydney. She had a conference, was it yesterday and today, or the last 3 days at the ICC in Sydney. So we caught up today and we're talking about Nigeria. We share a similar passion for Nigeria in the diaspora. When you leave Nigeria, it's when you start to love Nigeria more. We're talking. I
Yes.
was like, on this conversation this week, very interesting conversation, and I thought it would be good for us to have this conversation live. And the way I want to frame it today is, obviously, it's going to be 2 parts, right? The last part will be us talking about retirement, because that's not something that people talk about, retiring either in the diaspora or going back home to retire. So we'll get to that one. But before we get there, the introduction is basically things that are happening in Nigeria right now. Obviously, everybody knows the problem. So we'll just quickly highlight the problems, and then we'll start to figure out together as a community what kind of solutions can we bring to these problems. And Kachi, I know you have some beautiful stories to share about Nigeria, working with the Niger government and your recent experiences. So without further ado, I'll just throw it to you. Freestyle, I beg.
Okay, so the problem
Sorry,
is,
Kachi.
yeah.
How long have you guys been friends for? You and Adam?
Oh, I knew that from school, Madonna. So like 2009, 2010 time.
Mm. Yeah,
Yeah.
you seem to be one of the. Yeah, Adam doesn't really have smart friends, and you seem to be
Oh,
one out of.
What does that say about you?
I was about to ask, like, he's just.
Yeah, it seems like it's only me and Kachi that are smart when it comes to Adam's friends. But
My
anyway,
only
keep
2
going.
smart
I just wanted
friends.
to highlight that. But I'm happy you
I mean,
agree.
no, you're indicting yourself if you say Adam doesn't have smart friends. That's an indictment on your own self.
My guy, I know him. If you see bank signal guy, bank signal, But anyway, let's keep it going.
He's a toxic man.
Ah, okay. Oh, LLA babies in Australia. Hi, I see that comment. Oh, okay. Yeah. So, I mean, I live in Nigeria. I only just go out, come back, go out, come back. But, Nigeria is big. Like everybody said, and everybody knows, when you leave Nigeria, you not start to love Nigeria. The problem with loving Nigeria from abroad is that it blinds you to what is really happening in Nigeria. So it's like, oh my God, Nigeria has to be great. You suddenly have like a whole ton of passion for Nigeria. You see, the issue with this passion is that no matter how nice or how noble your thoughts for Nigeria is, you believe in Nigeria. The question is, does Nigeria believe in you? That is the question I always ask people to ask themselves whenever they start the whole optimism for Nigeria. And I believe in Nigeria. I believe Nigeria can be great. Well, does Nigeria believe in you? The answer is no. Time and again. Now, to my recent experiences, I'm someone who is optimistic. I work with the government. I'm a civil servant. I've had a ton of opportunities to leave civil service and go to the NGO space. My colleagues are like, don't you have any ambition? Are you like an ambitionless person? And I'm like, not really. I feel like somebody needs to do the job in government. My sister's Japan, or I stayed back, Everybody like, don't you want to leave the country? I'm like, somebody has to stay and do the work. And, that's actually my thought process with this stuff. It sounds great, it sounds noble, and all of those kind of things. Yes, my dear, Nigeria don't tell your papa home. Then, I've been managing Nigeria. Every now and then you have one new problem or the other. Okay, that's fine. Anyways, in March 6th to be precise, That morning, I was getting ready for work. I was in the room getting dressed, and then the lady that cleans our house, she came and she was like, Auntie, somebody's at the gate. So I assumed there was someone at the gate that she didn't know. So she was calling my attention to the person. So I went to the gate. I saw somebody was in front of my gate. She had collapsed. I was like, wahala. Okay. So I asked the cleaner, do you know her? The cleaner said, yes, that she lives within the compound. I was like, oh, you know her? She said, yes. I said, okay. So I was like, okay, fine. I called my sister because I was supposed to go on with my sister. She had a business to attend to. So I called her, told her, come outside. She was like, she's coming. She was thinking I was calling her, but I was ready to go to work and I was supposed to drop her along the way. So she was like, she's coming. I talked to her for like 3 minutes. She didn't come. I called her, I said, come outside now. She was like, I'm coming at you. So then I was like, come, it's urgent. So she came outside. When she came outside, she was like, what is it? I said, do you know this person? She was like, what is going on here? Now, the first thing I did when I saw that person was to check her pulse. Health worker, amiable. So I checked her pulse. Her pulse was like, I was like, okay, she has a pulse, so she's alive. That's good. So my sister came. My sister is also in the healthcare field too. And then she's like, I was like, do you know her? She was like, she's not sure, but she has seen her like within. I was like, I was like, okay. Let's ask on the tenant group because the cleaner has said she's in this compound. So like, so if she's in this compound, then she belongs to a tenant, whether it's a sister, a wife, a friend, I don't know. I was like, but this is the time for us to find out. So my sister, my sister is on the tenants group. I'm barely around. I'm literally a visitor in my house, so they don't give me more responsibilities in the family because it's useless. So my sister was like, she's going to call everybody in the tenants WhatsApp group and ask who knows her. So we took a picture of her. And then my sister started to call. The first person she called was the first house. So we told the man that, so he must said yes, that she's living with him. We're like, okay, she fainted though at the gate. He was like, We're like, yes, so he was like, okay, let him call her auntie to come to the house. So we said, okay. Then when we called, this semester, I was like, let's take her to the hospital while we wait for the auntie. I was like, yes, but let's call the husband back and ask him if we should take her to the hospital because you see, in healthcare field to teach you, some people don't used to go to hospital in their family, some people don't used to receive blood and so on and so forth. So if you can reach the family, your best bet is always to first contact them. So we called and we're like, should we take her to the hospital? He was like, yes, now. My sister was like, I was like, babe, leave that one. Just leave that one. You know matter like that. Leave her. So that's how I ran into the room, carried one dress through my body. I even forgot to carry my shoes. I wore my battery slippers out like that. Rushed to the car. I called my brother who was just around. I said, please come help me and carry this girl. She was like bigger than me, so obviously I could not carry her. So that's how they helped all of us gather her and put her in the car. As I started speeding to the hospital. I got to the hospital. As I was landing the hospital, I was the one driving. My brother was holding her at the back. My younger sister was in front. So I told my younger sister, yeah, fly down, go and get stretcher. My sister ran inside to go and get stretcher. I was parked in front of the hospital entrance there. Then she came back without stretcher. I was like, where is the stretcher? She was coming with the nurse. I was wearing gloves. I was like, where's the stretcher? She was like, we don't give her stretcher. The man came and said, we should open the door. I opened the door. I said, sir, this person is unconscious. We need the stretcher to bring her out. He was like, do you want to teach me my job? I was like, this is not the case of teaching you your job. It's like, this is what's supposed to be done. One other guy that was standing there initially that asked us, what's wrong? Don't worry, we're going to attend to her. And we're going to get a stretcher. He now came and said, see, do you want us to attend to her or not? I was like, you don't say that. It is unethical as a healthcare worker to open your mouth and ask a patient if you want them to take care of her. I was like, okay, so if I say no, uncle, you will not attend to her. Is she my relation? I said, this is unprofessional. So I started to bicker. Somebody else came out, a man, an elderly, maybe in his late 40s, came out. And he was like, I should calm down. What's going on? He now took him to one corner. I explained the situation to him. I was like, look, I'm a health worker too. I work in the Ministry of Health. I'm bringing this person here because as a health worker, it behoves on me to ensure that, if I see somebody who needs medical attention, I am supposed to ensure the person gets it. I was like, so he was like, okay, I should not worry. He asked them to go and get the stretcher. Then they came with the stretcher. Yeah, they carry stretcher come now. Then they said me and my sister should bring out of the car. Me and my sister. This now, they were like maybe like 7 men standing by the side. They're like, we should bring her. I was like, come, what did happen for here? Like, do you know how many of us put this guy inside this car? The nurse stood, other people stood. Then one other guy that was, I think whether it was a patient or just someone standing there, was like, how all these men go stand there and I go, they say, make this man carry this guy. I was like, oh God, I love that whole. That was when some other guys now came and now put their hand, carried out of the car. I was like, thank you, sir, thank you. So when they took her in, my brother went in with them, my sister went in with them. I had to go and park the car. So I went and parked the car. After I parked the car, I came down. I went back into the ward. When we got into the ward, they said we should all go outside. We should go outside. Normal heading now. So we were standing outside now. Then I started to hear her voice. So I knew that she had been resuscitated because by the time we took her there, she was unconscious. I started hearing her voice. So when I started hearing her voice, my brother went in. My sister went in. I was like, not only me go there outside now. I went inside too. She started shouting. She was crying. They want to kill me. They want to kill me. They want to kill me. They were asking her who wants to kill you. We're like, I was like, okay, should we call your auntie? Your auntie's on her way. She said, no, they want to kill me. Should we call your husband? No, they want to kill me. My brother now asked her, should we call Mama Alex? Now, I don't know who Mama Alex is. She didn't shout the no when they said, should we call Mama Alex? So we're like, okay, so Mama Alex, now they had a problem today with that. So she was still shouting as she was crying. One young doctor came in. Now, when the drama started outside, with them refusing to carry her and everything, I set a record. Because you see in Nigeria, when there's any problem, you always want to ensure you have evidence. I started recording this situation, first of all. Then the next thing, the young doctor came in and she was like, what is wrong with her? We gave her the history up to the point that we knew. She was like, okay. So who was recording outside? I was recording. She was like, oh, and you're saying it to my face. I was like, should I say behind your back before? She was like, I said no. Should I deny that I was recording or what? Like, what's going to happen? My uncle was like, is it illegal to record? She was like, please don't shout. All right, don't shout to me. I'm asking you a question back. She did not answer. She got quiet. Oh yeah, and I thought they continued to attend to her. Then one nurse just opened the door and said, you people should go and get card for the patient. And I was like, her family is on the way. When they come, because we don't have her details, we don't even know her name. So opening a card for a patient you have no details about it's insane. We will just write unknown with the family. I was like, so family's on the way. She was like, okay, she left. It not reached 2 minutes. Just open the door. We would have a problem is if you don't get a card. At that point, I told my sister, see, okay, and I had just returned to the country like the weekend before that. So I went for an official trip. I had to turn in my my report and everything. I was telling my sister, it was a Wednesday. I told my sister, see, babe, I'll do it on my report. And I had to go for a meeting. I had to return back to Geneva the next weekend. So I didn't have time. I need to send my report in and get approval for the next trip. So I was like, babe, I become my office soon because not be a government give me work. She was like, I beg she has, because she had orders for meals. She does catering. So she was like, she's going to market too. That's how two of us carried out this thing. My brother was like, we should go to work. He will stay until the family arrives. So we said, okay. I got into the car to leave. My sister told me, these people will not let us pass. Because you see, Nigeria, if you have stayed in Nigeria very long, you can predict how everything will happen. And I suspected we go to the gate, hospital log gate, say we know they go anywhere. Say we should go back and collect authorization. I was like, that's illegal. The man said, we cannot put the gate, you have to go back. I said, got authorization from who? On what basis? I brought a patient to the hospital. Why do I need authorization to leave the hospital? So I was like, madam, that's the instruction that was given to me. I was like,
So your good deed now backfired. You tried to help somebody that fainted.
In fact,
locked you in the hospital.
This was the beginning of my day. The next thing, one other man came to the hospital and came to the gate. Madam, you people need to go back and blah, 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 blah. I was like, we brought the patient to the hospital. I was like, this is my office. I brought my official ID card. I said, this is my official ID card. This is where I work. This is what I do. He was like, because you want to drop a patient and run away. I was like, why are you using the word run away in the first place? If I brought the patient out of my own free will, there was no gun to my head to say, bring a patient to hospital. So what do you mean by run away? The patient is not my relation. And even if the patient was my relation, I only have a moral obligation to stay with the person. I do not have any legal obligation to cannot tell anybody to the hospital. But I was like, what are we talking about? I told my sister that, see, I don't have strength for this. So my brother said to pick her with the security. What of it is blah, 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 all that kind of stuff. As we all argued there, patient relative actually came. They went inside to pay for the card, bought the card. Allow us to go. These people said no. It became an ego thing. And you are women. They are women. They must be respectful. People say they should go back. They should go back. I was like, Nigeria, a great place to be a woman. I was like, anyways. As I met my sister with there, one of them man came. And my name is Dr. Obeche. I'm from the CMD. She sent me to come and resolve the issue. I said, okay, sir. He talked. I said, sir. He was like, so just come inside, let us talk. I said, sir, in this gate I've been sitting down. The security's here, they threatened to slash my tire. They threatened to beat me. Blah, 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 blah. They've called us a shower. I said, look, I don't feel safe in your premises. Yes, okay, I was shouting, a shower. I was like, from here to here in this country. So I told the guy, I told Dr. Gwechim, I don't feel safe in your premises. I will park outside the gate. My sister will come down and stand here with you. I'll go outside and park my car. And I'll walk back inside. And then we can go anywhere you want us to go to. They was like, no, what if they steal your car? I said, it's my car. If they steal it, I will bear the brunt of the stolen car. He said, no. That's what we said. I was like, it was not like that. I was like, why am I even being held when the patient's relatives are here?
Hospital.
Yes, Caro General Hospital, Abuja.
Don't need to call their name. I'm just saying. Like,
I know I need to call their name. It's social media. It's not a secret now.
Sorry to hurry your story along, right? Because I'm just conscious of the time we have, and I know you have plenty juicy stories. I just want to get to the crux of
so,
it.
like, basically, to cut the long story short, the next thing they went to call police for us. Police came and carried us from hospital. Which police station? When we were police station, police asked us what happened. The DPO. We told him what happened. One other policewoman, they was like, could it be that they beat the lady and the lady fainted, then they carried her to the hospital? I was like, no, I'm not that depraved and I'm not a psycho. Like, I cannot beat somebody. Now, let me tell you the best part. The next thing is social correct police statement. I thought it was a social hurry up that we're going to court. Court care. What did they happen for here? Okay. Now, by this time, we never understand what they happen still because he was still like, what is going on in this place? Well, no problem. That's why they carried us to court. When we got to court, I called my colleague, there's a lawyer. I said, see what's going on. And he was like, ask them, what are they charging you to court for? So I said, what are they charging me to court for? They said, don't worry, you'll find out when you get there. Wahala. Now I reached court. My officer calling me, Kachi, what is going on? I was like, what is going on? What? They're like, we heard that you were arrested, that you beat somebody, the person fainted. I was like, hey, wahala. At that point, I just knew that there was trouble. So at that point, he called my uncle and said, we need a lawyer. Because my colleague that was a lawyer was not in town. So we got to the court. When we got to the court, the DPO, the CMW, they were there. They were all raking and blah, 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 blah. The next thing, they called in our case. At that point, I started posting on social media because we know, say, we did go Sanko as we look the matter. When we got into the place, they read the charges, threats, assault, blah, blah, blah. 5 count charges. Hey. I was like, today, not today. Hey, the next thing, the lawyer that my uncle got just came in. He just rushed in. I was like, your honor, we want to apply for bail.
I beg. All these things happen one day. One day.
One day. Okay now. The lawyer was like, your honor, we want to apply for bail.
It's too fast.
See, like everybody was like, Nigeria can be this fast. The next thing, the judge said, the guy who wants to apply for bail, whether our counsel or whatever said, your honor, we vehemently refuse the bail Blah, 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 blah. That's why Judge said, yes, bail denied, blah. Remand in custody. Next, they carry us put us inside Black Maria. See, it's funny now, but that day, it was like a movie. The next thing they put us inside Black Maria. Land us for Kefi prison. We were like, me and my sister were like, what did they saw? Like, what did they happen? The next thing, they have carried us to Kefi. We had reached prison. Reached prison, said to do documentation for prison. I was like, you are invited the custody till May wait, no, till March, waiting, but the next court hearing date. This was a Wednesday. That is the Monday of the next week. So I'm going to be in prison for 5 days. I was like, see me with people who don't commit crime. Like, okay. When we got to the prison, they kept asking us, what did you do? If we tell them the story, they go look us. They go say anyway, they know the person for Nigeria because people have to. In fact, even police don't know their own experience. That they carry somebody to hospital lock gates, lock police inside with their police van. That police they mad. I was like, but these things are not. They're illegal, and we are all just gisting about it, like saying a story. But then the next day, people got involved. Social media, they said we're trending on social media. People were angry. Like, what nonsense is this? The lady was alive. The lady kept telling them that these people saved my life. They went to call Human Rights Commission. They didn't answer to Human Rights Commission. When we got a lawyer, apparently the lawyer was a crazy person. The lawyer came, was like, nah, they mad. Give these people merit award for saving a Nigerian life. What kind of rubbish is that? So after a lot of drama, there was a lot of buzz on social media, there was a lot of pressure. People were calling the judge, calling everybody. So the next day, they now hired our case the next day instead of this thing and gave us bail the next day. That's how we now finally came out of prison. So I went to prison because I picked somebody on the road to hospital. This is story. And the funny thing is, the Friday after this happened, this same lady, they came and called us that she was vomiting blood. All our neighbors say nobody could touch her this time around. Call police. We got police. Police said, our van is not working. No, that's how they did it. After a lot of pressure, one of them came on bike. That the girl said this epilepsy should leave her. Apparently, the girl drank something. They finally took her to hospital. She was in the ICU for a while, and she finally passed. And all of these are things that could have been avoided if that situation of Wednesday didn't happen. She probably would have still been alive, but that's what happened to her. This was mad.
I wasn't expecting this ending.
Oh, I know. Right? That was the fucking ending of the story. Just like that ex-convict, my dear. I saw you talk about. I saw you. May 18th, I came back to Nigeria. My mom was like, you always, I know they see you. So now that you're around, let me come to Abuja and see you before you travel again. My mom actually stays in Abuja, but she was in the east or something. So she was my grandma. So she was like, she's going to come to Abuja with my grandma. So 19th of May, she entered the road.
But this is a new story, right?
This is a new story. 2 months later.
Wait, sorry. Before we start this story, we need to acknowledge comments.
You say?
Acknowledge some comments in the comment section. Like, when you were in prison, right? Did you ever sing like
back to back?
Lockdown.
From the comfort of your home.
Hello, like that, like feel like cannot be ex-convict.
Just to us back, right? Because I know that it's all the story is sweet, but then it's not about the entertainment of the story. It's just there's juice that I want to extract from the story, right? You tried to do good, the good backfired. You ended up spending the night in prison. It could have been worse if you didn't have people on your side fighting for you, or if you were not smart enough to start.
The girl had died in that first encounter. Because one of the reasons why they allowed us to go was because the lady testified in court that first day. They identified her in court. So if that first encounter was the one that she died, we're not going to do this live now. They go, yes, I did.
From prison.
So you see, now that there's a lot of bad things, and I don't want us to dwell too much on the negative side, right? Like you and I were having the conversation today, and you are of the opinion that there was a phrase you used. You said if she doesn't want to save herself or something. How did you say that?
Yes. No, I said, you talked about trying to save Nigeria, trying to help Nigeria, being optimistic, and I was like, there's a street saying that leave her, he doesn't want to be saved. That is applicable to Nigeria. Nigeria does not want to be saved. I can tell you for free. This second story I was talking about for May 19th. My grandma and my mom, they were on the way home. It was a private car they were driving. They called me that they were at Nasarawa. Okay, when I spoke to them, like maybe around 7. So I was like, okay, guys, I'm almost home. They called me again like an hour later. I was thinking they're calling me to start warming food or something. My mom just told me calmly on the phone, come out and meet us at the park in Nyanya. Your grandma has been shot. Hey, hey. And she said it so calmly. I was like, is this a prank? So I told my, I can't remember, I was like, let's go and meet most of them at the park. Drove out to the park. Waited for them, they got in there. My grandma's leg was tied with stuff. It was, with scarves and stuff. It was bleeding. I was like, okay, but she was trying to walk by herself. So I didn't know the gravity of the whole thing. The next thing, we got to the hospital. I said, you know what, let's go. My mom was like, let us go, let them clean it up. And I was like, no, we're going to hospital straight. That was the best decision we made. We got to the hospital. When they took us into the mini theater in the emergency, they opened the leg. Everybody shouted. Like there was a full bullet wound on her leg, like tore through her flesh, tore through her muscle. And I was like, what the fuck did you people say happened? Mom was like, as they're coming, when they got into Nasarawa, bandits there shooting. And they, this thing they shoot at your car so that you stop. But my mom was like, she told them, do not stop this car for shit. Instead, we'll buy, let the rims scatter. Just drive. That's how they were driving. They drove until they got to a place where she was like, my grandma kept screaming that a bullet hit her. But she couldn't stop, obviously, couldn't stop. They only got, when they got to where people were, they stopped, they checked. The car looked like a crime scene. And I was like, I was so pissed because this was such an unnecessary thing. And this is, we're lucky because someone else who passed, that we heard about, like they stopped their car obviously when the shooting started. And they kidnapped the guy. The family is asked to pay 8 million ransom. These people, they live from Maraba. Where do I see 8 million naira from? Like they're the fucking average Nigerians. So, sometimes people, we are, the point of this story is really, is to just really show you that, like I said, Nigeria does not want to be saved. Leave her. Nigeria belongs to the streets. Let her be. I can tell you for free. Any other thing is delusion at this point. And to be honest, like I told you, Adams, for Nigeria to get better, we need to first of all admit that Nigeria sucks. First of all, I do program management, I do M&E. Like I was telling you today, you need a baseline for everything. If you want to do a program or something, you have a baseline. Okay, so this is what is obtainable right now. This is what we have. Then this is what we want to achieve. We need to agree that what we have right now is insecurity, food crisis, a shitty country, no rule of law. When we have admitted to ourselves that this is where we are, then we cannot say, so now, how do we get out of where we are and where we want to be? But if we cannot honestly have these conversations with ourselves and tell ourselves the truth, then we're wasting our time. We're just building castles in the air and hoping that, because you see, optimism does not solve anything. You cannot wish into a good Nigeria. Otherwise, I can wake up for Paris like this. But it doesn't work like that. So there's a lot of work to be done for Nigeria. I know you guys want to retire home, and you guys want to help, you want to give back to the country. They are very noble stuff, and it's understandable that you want to retire home. But really, there's a saying that no one leaves home except home is the mouth of a shark. There's a reason why you left home in the first place. And do not stay outside and then forget it. So yeah, that's mine.
You see, and I appreciate you for sharing these stories with us. I know we're laughing, but it could have turned either way, right? It may not have been such a happy ending for you. So we thank God that you are able, to join us today.
We thank the Lord, though. We are very grateful.
But you see, that's one of the things I like about Nigeria, right? Like you never know what's going to happen. Like that morning you woke up, you were going to help somebody and then you ended up in prison. It's like action film. So there is always some drama and some excitement happening in Nigeria. You can frame it positively.
Yeah, that is not excitement.
I know.
No, for you that hear the story is excitement. For we that are living it. It
But
is not exciting at
I
all.
still like to believe that there's hope in Nigeria. We have an APC member with us on this live, so we will come to we will come to that. I know what your thoughts about APC people. We will come to
I
that.
mean, to the APC member, before I get to the APC member, I just like to wake up from your delusion, oh, because it's one thing if you do not know and you're delusional. Second thing if you are openly delusional. You know that you collect the sanko in psycho because
But
ah,
you see, that's the thing, right? Like Nigeria is horrible, Nigeria is bad, and I think that at least now we know, like you said, that is the baseline. Now, for me, I want us to be able to have an honest conversation amongst ourselves and talk about how we can help Nigeria. The honest truth is, you can't really help Nigeria from within Nigeria. We in the diaspora are the ones that can say, okay, let's do this. Even if we're not going back to Nigeria, we can send resources to help people, right? If you
yes,
change one or two people's lives, then they change two other people's lives. You can now start like a positive chain reaction.
yeah.
You get, and that's what we are trying to do, and we're trying to facilitate. But then there's another point you raised that I've been thinking about since you mentioned it, where because you're trying to do good now, some people will be looking at you and they'll be like, ah, he has money. They'll now start planning how. So as you're helping with one hand, you need to defend yourself with the
No,
other hand.
no, let me help you.
Hmm?
It's that you see, as you are trying to help Nigerians, you also need to be very careful of Nigerians because human beings are very chaotic. Like in not just Nigerians, humans are naturally chaotic. What keeps humans, in order is rule. So where there is no rule, you have chaos, and that's why Nigeria operates in the level of chaos that it operates. Now, I was telling you something today about even as you're trying to help Nigerians, you also need to be very careful because you see, you do not want to put a target on your back because you're helping somebody. Your pay is going to 100 people. They're like, Adam's pay is going to 100 people in Nigeria. Such a noble thing. Why people are thinking your contribution is very noble. Somebody is like, so he has money for 100. That means 20,000 times 100. That's 200,000 times 3 times a year. That's 600,000. That excludes the one that we don't know about. So the one that is sent to kidnap his parents. The next thing, you have a new problem. Like, we
I swear this is
Kelvin,
fucking
they
true.
always kidnap the Kelvin father now. Everybody they kidnap the man. Anyone they kidnap the man. That's because
Ha.
everybody knows how much the ballers make in the country. So it's like lucrative business. Kidnap this man's father, collect money. So most times when once people know that they can get something off you, they are seeing the good works you're doing. Why they are the reason that say, oh my God, noble stuff, this is so great. There's somebody that is doing mathematics and saying, if we carry this person, how much can we collect? So you need to be careful so that as you're trying to help somebody, you also don't put a target on your back. So yeah.
Very well said. Praise, I really want to hear from you because I feel like you have you have a lot to add to this conversation.
Oh my God. Anyways, um, very bold of you. Very, very bold of you. What you did was an extreme, selfless humanitarian service right there. So at this point, permit us to call you UNICEF. So UNICEF and Red Cross, everything put together. Because this
Oh, no.
story, like I don't know how I would have reacted in the face of all this because you came back from somewhere to the
You
country
go just
and
come.
then
Let me
you,
just say,
you, try,
be
you try
very
to save
calm
your life. I mean, like, I don't
because you be
know, you
confused.
save your life, and before you know it, you're inside Black Barrier to court. Same. Nigeria has never been fast. Like, there's never
Like,
been a swift move.
Very fast to convict.
I'm telling you, very fast to convict.
not
And the court,
everybody
man,
knows.
we probably missed this story on Very Dark Man's page because I want to believe he probably carried it.
I heard very
You know,
dark man is in jail.
Yeah,
I think it's back. It's
over
out.
Nigeria.
Anyways, Nigeria has always been like this, unfortunately. Personally, but I'm up for crucifixion anyway. I supported Tinubu, you know, and I had my own reasons why I supported Tinubu. I know you look at me like you look at me like I'm delusional. I don't follow trends. I don't follow the crowd. I love Peter Obi
Okay.
personally, and I'm a Nigerian. I'm I'm a very smart person. I want to believe that, and I think I have my own opinions. I think I can make my
What's your
decisions.
question?
Just
You
to
know,
add one
chill.
thing before you
Wait,
go
wait,
further.
wait,
I just
wait,
want to say
wait,
one thing.
and chill. Wait, and we are in a democratic setting. You know what I mean?
Correct.
Everybody cannot be
Yeah,
on someone. You have
absolutely.
to pick and choose your candidates. So I
Yeah.
picked who I picked, and I
Mm-hmm.
canvass for who I canvass. And this is my own personal, obvious, like candidates, and
Yeah.
Nigeria right from the days of Iran Sea till now, Nigeria has always been in faces. There's no time Nigeria has. I mean, there have been times where we had like a good country, but they've always been civil unrest. I schooled in the north, and it wasn't palatable at all. So there've
Yeah, I
always
get.
been religious, crisis. There's always been a lot happening. There's always been kidnapping. There's always been things happening. And good luck came issues. Yaradua came issues. Buhari came issues. Tinubu came issues. So when everybody's like Tinubu, I'm like, Tinubu is the president. He can only just do so much. But how about Nigerians themselves? How are you treating your neighbor? How is the
Mm.
family, like household, even your community? So Nigeria is just a country, but how about your family? There are some families that are not even at peace. Even the smallest unit, the family, brother no one talk to brother, uncle they kill everybody for village. If your uncle go drag land with your papa, kill everybody. Is that a Tinubu's problem? You know what I'm saying? So
I get.
the country needs like overall rehabilitation. No, like
Praise,
it needs
Absolutely.
it needs it needs
praise.
fumigation. Then we talk about schools itself. Even schools itself, lecturers are not passing students that have written their exams well. They still want bribe. They still want to sleep with students.
We
There's still
understand
that
the
problem there.
Praise,
problems.
praise, praise,
So
praise.
Nigeria,
We don't we know
so
praise,
if you want to
praise. We
talk
know
about
the
Nigeria,
problem already. We know the
Nigeria has
problem.
Nigeria has
Oh,
a
yeah.
problem. You know what I mean? So the
Yes.
country, the country itself needs a proper rehabilitation at this
We
point.
So,
You know what
the
I mean?
rehabilitation is to remove people like you from voting.
no,
Do you understand?
wait,
No,
wait,
no, no, no.
wait,
It's
wait.
not
Let's
about
take
people
it
like
step
that
by
because
step.
we all
Yes.
we
Pray,
are different. You need to
pray.
understand that Nigerians we are very different
Look,
in
I'm going to be
everything,
honest. It's
religion,
not
tribes, everything, and
Sorry,
we
sorry.
can pick
Can you
and we
give me a
cannot
minute?
we
Can I,
cannot
can I,
go
can I
to
take a
we
like
minute?
cannot choose
Can I
one
take a minute?
candidate. Never.
praise the
Sorry,
That's
fact
what you need
that
to
you've lived in this
understand.
country for almost 7 years and you voted Tinubu shows that that's a very, very
sorry,
not smart
sorry,
decision.
sorry. Please
No,
give
you
me
That's the
cannot
1
truth.
tell me
minute. Please
who
just
to
give me
vote.
1
You
minute.
That's
can
not
no, you
Please.
smart.
can never tell me. You
No,
can never
wait,
tell me
wait,
who and why I
I
wait,
should
cannot
vote.
tell
It's
you who
up
wait.
to
to
me to
vote, but I
choose.
can tell you
Let's
if
not
it's a smart choice
argue.
or not.
Let's not
That's not a
argue.
smart
The
choice.
first question. My first question. Praise, one question first before I say what I want to say. What convinced you that he was a good choice?
Thank you so much for that question. You know,
Yes.
Tinubu had a track record from when he was young, right?
Okay.
He
Mm-hmm.
was, fighting alongside with the late Abiola.
Yeah.
Became the senator, he was doing well. Became a governor, he did well. He had the blueprint, and he obviously had, like obviously had the blueprint, and he developed a lot of people, a lot of persons. We all knew that human capacity. He developed a lot of people. He turned boys to men, and he had it like so. With that
Yeah,
kind of
just
record, you can
spitting
always tell the
rhymes.
future from the. You can
Rhymes.
always you can tell where the
Say,
future is going to from. You can tell where the future is going to from the past. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Again,
I said,
why are you
well, all these
laughing? He
Tinubu
had a good, he
voters are
had a
very
good past.
funny.
Now, look
What
what
was
he did in Lagos.
good about
We
his
cannot
past?
take away the fact
False
that
Wait.
certificates,
No, wait.
Tinubu
Sorry,
contributed
Okay.
towards
drug
the
laws.
losses.
Sorry.
You
sorry.
know what I mean?
So, praise.
So,
No.
Praise.
so yeah. So every
Praise.
every other thing,
Yes.
every
Can
other
I,
thing about
can I say
Tinubu is
something?
this,
Can I
Tinubu is
say
that. That's
something?
none of my business.
You're
That's
leaving.
allegedly.
Where do you live?
Chill. So a lot of people.
Hmm?
Sorry.
Where do you
No, praise,
live?
praise
Where do
and
you live?
catchy, praise and
No,
catchy.
wait.
Sorry,
Sorry.
let's
Just
Why?
give me
actually.
one second. No, yeah. Where
I'm in
do
Before we start
you
this
Lagos.
live?
I'm in
ref,
Lagos. I'm in Lagos.
Okay. So I'm asking this question question because so here's the thing. First of all, you said he had a track record, and you are very
Can we
correct.
not dwell on Tinubu, please? I don't want
No,
us to dwell on the
actually,
president.
Tinubu is a very good topic. Do you know why?
Adam, please give
Because
me
people like
3 minutes.
this voted Tinubu, right? And he's
Adam,
sitting here and complaining about what he has done. You
Adam,
want to fix the country, but
please give me just
you knowingly
Adam. I
vote
just need
somebody
3
that
minutes.
cannot fix the country.
You can time me.
All
3 minutes
right,
only. Just
3
3
minutes,
minutes,
please.
please. Thank you. My time starts now. So, Praise, first of all, he had a track record. You're correct. The first track record was that he forfeited some drug money. That is already a problem in itself. Second, you speak about an imaginary blueprint. Lagos is the mega slum of Africa, in case you are not aware. And he was president, and all the people he put in power after him did absolutely nothing for Lagos. The first time I went to Lagos in a very long time, as an adult, I said, Lagos stinks. That was the first
The air is
thing I said.
polluted.
Because Lagos has poor air quality, poor water supply, basically poor everything. Lagos is not a model city for anybody. If anything, it's a disgrace to a city that has that much resources. We have 2 seaports in Lagos. I work at points of entry, port of services. We have 2 seaports in Lagos, 1 airport, now 3 seaports, and 1 land border. I went to Seme border because to part of my work. I came back home and my friend asked me, it felt like they ran a train on you, right? I was like, yes, that is how I felt. Because my body ached for days. So you see, Praise, it is bad enough that you supported Tinubu because you really don't have any basis for your support. Now, your support has brought us to where we are. Things are bad. Yes, things have always been bad in Nigeria, but it hasn't been this bad. The minimum wage in 2014 when Jonathan was president was 80,000 naira. And the bag of rice was 8,000. I was a core member and I came back from service. I bought the family a bag of rice. Now I work, my salary is around 150,000. The bag of rice now is 80 something thousand, 90,000. The minimum wage is, let's even say it is the 62,000. That means a minimum wage for 1 month cannot buy a bag of rice for a family. So now, how has this supposed blueprint helped anything? No, hold on, let me finish.
We have
No, you
1
said
more minute.
you said 3 minutes now. So when you finish,
We
having
have
that
1 minute
1 minute one.
remaining.
That somebody built cronies because that's what he did. You building your cronies does not mean you build anybody. When you build people, Praise, other people will see because they will be independent of you. If they are still connected to your code, then you didn't build them. What you did was that you only put out a part of yourself that you could always pull back whenever you wanted. These people are not independent. He runs a godfatherism. That is not building people. Please, let's be guided.
No,
Let's not go out. This is why the world thinks that Nigeria is a
Praise is
joke.
very much aware of all these things. He's reading for voting Tinubu.
Mhm.
Let me say it out
No,
since he
no,
cannot
no,
say it
let me,
again.
no, let,
Shame will not let him
let me
say
say.
it.
I mean,
He said it's for
you
his
said
personal
something.
interest because
No,
Tinubu will help somebody
no,
he
wait,
knows
wait,
to enter
Ini.
government.
No,
That is his reason. There's no
Ini.
other reason why he
No,
voted Tinubu.
Ini,
So that was
There's
his
no
initial
there's no
reason
reason.
for
no.
You
supporting
can give
Tinubu.
yourself
No,
an
let's chill.
It's not
Let's
true.
be very objective now. Can I respond to you? Let's be very objective.
Objective.
And
Even
yeah,
the
like I
lack of
said,
objectivity to
wait
support
now,
You are
people
not being
is
objective, Praise.
wait
You
yes,
now,
you are
wait,
are
not
not
being
wait,
being
wait,
objective.
wait,
objective.
Can
That's the
you
truth.
wait now.
think like
Okay.
just what the baby?
You don't want
You say
change. You
I
don't
want
want
to respond.
Nigeria to change.
I want to respond to you. Firstly, we need to sort of just agree that look, man, we are in a democratic setting, and then we have the choice to pick who we want to vote for, who we want to support. You know,
Okay, then,
again, you said something about drugs. You know, Tinubu did drugs money. That's none of my business. I don't care and all of that
you
because
see
Why not?
chill. Because
the truth.
at
Give him
the
time.
end of, at the end of the day,
He will bring
wait now,
his
Let me
Okay.
reasons.
respond.
Just
Let me
wait.
respond. I want
Give
to
him more
respond.
time.
I want to respond to you. I want to respond to you. You know,
Mm-hmm.
I am not a Lego person. If Tinubu was found guilty, he shouldn't be the president. He's still going everywhere in the world. You know
Have
what I mean?
you met Nigeria?
Sorry.
Nigga, please.
All right.
Let me
I'm
wait
going to
now.
I'm going to
Like
bring
that's none of my
bring
business.
decorum back. Praise,
If he was into
praise,
that,
please.
he would have been in the court. Like
Yeah.
it's not
No,
me and you are
it's a
not
lie,
yet in
it's
the
a lie,
country
it's a
because
lie.
Okay.
It's a
all these things
fraud
are
lie from the pit
alleged.
of hell. Legally, it's not alleged.
Why is
It's
it
it's
like
it's
why
a
has he not been
document to be
arrested?
treated. It's not
Kachi
allowed.
praise.
Anybody,
See, okay,
They
wait,
said
see,
they said
the moratorium.
can
After
you
a
he
while, they don't
presented
hold it
himself.
against
They
you,
said
but you're a criminal. I'm not
chill,
you.
chill. They said he
cannot,
presented a
I'm
fake
not
cannot
university.
argue with
again.
that.
They said he presented a fake university certificate.
Look, you cannot argue
Even
with
the
Tinubu
even
supporter.
the university itself made a public statement.
That you
The
want
university
some people.
itself made a public statement. So what is me and you
You
business
can't
there?
argue with Tinubu supporters.
Yeah.
That's the
No,
truth.
I'm just saying.
That you want some people.
This is why
You
this
say
is why
Actually, Peter, you have a poor image on the global scale
all right,
because of your president. Let me
Kachi,
just tell you.
thank you for highlighting
You know,
why Tinubu
you
is
don't
not
allow me
good.
to respond. This
No,
is
no,
Praise,
no,
talking to a
praise.
human
There's
being
no,
who
no,
no
no,
don't
need
no,
give
to
no, it's
respond.
response.
enough.
Praise,
Praise. No more Tinubu,
You don't
please.
allow
we
me
didn't
to
gather
respond.
here today.
You want you just want you don't want to hear my voice. You don't want to hear my voice, but I will
We
still
didn't
respond
got
to you at
here
the end of
today
the day,
to
man.
talk about whether Tinubu is good or he's not good, right? We were trying to highlight the problems of Nigeria first, and this goes to show that the problems are
Sorry,
plenty.
sorry.
So we can now start to draw back and look at what kind of solutions can we offer to these problems, right? Now, as I just pointed out that you're an APC supporter, everybody has their right to vote who they want.
You
You're
set
an
me up.
adult. You can pick whoever you feel will work best
Yes,
in
but
your
if your
view.
choice,
That's your choice.
but your choice
However,
support affects us, we can call you can call bullshit on your choice
no,
and praise.
I
We are
don't think
calling
anybody has
bullshit.
any right to tell somebody who to vote for, right?
No, we
So
don't
we'll
have the
just
right, but we
we'll,
can call your option bullshit because it was bullshit. It's bullshit fucking. We're living the bullshit right now. So we
Catch you,
can't.
relax now. Relax.
no, I understand that you
Relax.
live in Nigeria, so this is. But Kachi, if you were made president, right, or you were put in a position of power, what is the first thing
Yeah,
you will change? Because
the
you're
first thing I
passionate
would
about this.
say,
Yes,
Kill,
just
yes,
one thing,
arrest
and try to keep it
Tinubu.
simple because we're running out of time. Just short.
so the thing I'm going to change is, first of all, I'm going to do like an overhaul of the system. And to do that, I'm going to have to make laws that even I will abide by. I do health policy. And there's no point in putting policies that we're not going to implement. First of all, exactly, arrest Prince. Thank you. That's what I'm going to do. Yes, that's the answer. I'll arrest Prince. No need for long talk.
But like, I think fixing to fix Nigeria, I think part of the problem is us, the people, right? And
Yeah.
we're
Part
very,
of the
very,
problem.
very. It's
That's
that the people are the
that's all
problem.
the problem.
That's the main problem, and we're very, very divided
That's the
when
problem.
it comes to
Yes.
picking our leaders. So for me now, I'm very open-minded when it comes to voting. I voted Jonathan the first time because I thought there was nobody else to vote, right? And Jonathan didn't do
Yeah.
well. And I voted Buhari because I thought Buhari would do better than Jonathan. No hatred or
Exactly.
anything, no
Yeah.
tribalism. Buhari did not do well, and I said, okay, fine. If Buhari is not doing well, then we'll vote the next guy, right? So I'm not
Yeah.
voting because I want to gain something. Voting Jonathan was going to benefit me, but that's not my business. My mom voted Jonathan, and she was angry I voted
Better
Buhari,
good.
but I don't
Better
care. My mom is
good,
past
right?
generation. Now that's me. Now, in Nigeria, is suffering from mass uneducation, from
Yes.
huge if with a growing population that is really uneducated, right? So in the north
And
now, most of
minority.
them are, hmm?
Include malnourishment
Yeah.
because malnourishment affects your
Let's just
cognitive
say poverty. Let's just say
ability.
poverty, because when people are very poor, it's easy to manipulate them. Because people are very
Yes,
poor, they can
they're in
easily
the
get
lower base
manipulated.
of mass
Kachi, you have a
hierarchy
lot
of
to
money.
say.
No,
Eh?
no,
Adam,
I think.
I'm
Adam,
Uh-huh.
not
Because
Adam,
against
now,
we're gonna
eh,
extend
no,
today's
praise,
life is
praise.
gonna
Let
be
me
an
finish.
exception.
Praise.
We're gonna
You
extend
spoke. You
today's life.
spoke. Let me finish. Now, we stay on Twitter and we talk about who is going to win the election. People on Twitter are smart enough to make good choices, right? Now, what
some
scares
are
me
not
the
even that smart.
That's that's
some of them will not all some, but what scares me
Yes.
the most now is that you think that okay, if the man in the village is still being very tribalistic, someone who's gone through high school, uni, done masters,
Help my
lives
life.
abroad, can think different now and say, hold on, let me do the right thing. Do you understand?
Yeah.
But then you now have that kind of person still saying, I'm going to vote Tinubu because of my
Uh,
personal interest. How much interest,
our
like
brother.
what's bigger than saving, like how big can that interest be that you can't put it aside
No,
and say,
how does
hold on,
it translate
let's
to
fix
better
this
life for
country.
you? That
Like
is
the
your brother.
country is so bad, you can't take your own kids for holiday in that country and leave them. Is that what you really want as a person? So for me, it's like, I think if we sit down here, we can talk about Nigeria is bad and how to fix it. But the reality is that the people who change it, that who can even put in the small effort and say, okay, let me just do my little part and say, okay, I've done my own, leave the rest, are not even willing to do it. It
Can
takes,
I tell you a secret
yeah,
I found out today? I
what's
found
up?
out a secret today. One of the sessions we attended, I had to attend a first session this morning, and she was talking about during the COVID-19 lockdown and how they were had to keep reviewing their laws. She's from Uganda. How they had to keep reviewing their laws throughout COVID every time there was a change to protocols. And I was like, okay, why did you guys continue to review? Why don't people just have, because for example, in Nigeria, we have like a quarantine act, we have a bill that empowers the president to make guidelines and protocols when there's a public health emergency, or the Minister of Health. So I'm like, why don't people have something like that? And you know what she told me? She was like, because we've had the same president for 30 years. So we do not run a democracy. She was like, so we need to put in small checks and balances. Like the president's word is not a law. It is just that a word. It's not enforceable unless there is a law. So if the president says something, then they make a law to either effect it or not. If there's no law to effect it, then it doesn't happen. And I was like, interesting point of view. She was like, yes, that is the way they put this thing in check. And the president, even though they've had the president for this thing. I brought this point up because they, there's a notion that Nigeria has no sense of collective responsibility, collective good, collective anything. We are
Selfish.
just divided
Selfish.
between tribes and religious line, and we cannot come together for a common cause. It's the
Now,
reason why praise is
Adam,
telling us that it does not concern us if the president has a poor
Yeah.
record. Ideally, in a sane society, look at Trump. Trump was indicted for carrying sex ashawo. I mean, yes, there is a divide, but the laws are there to ensure that irregardless, you get punished. The governor of which state that I can't remember which state. He's
Sorry,
an
Kachi,
ex-convict from the US.
can I pause you? Can I pause you
I
for
want
a quick minute?
I want to talk. Kachi, there are a whole lot of Adam. Before you say something, please, can I just answer a few things that came directly to me? You said
Please,
something
if it's
about
Tinubu,
tribalism.
we'll
You
move
know,
past that. Please, just say what you
no,
need
no,
to say,
because
but
they
we'll
just say
move
something.
past
It's not
Tinubu.
about Tinubu. I just want to address
I
tribalism. Can I please just address
was
tribalism?
actually that.
In just
Thank you.
2 minutes. 2 minutes. Tinubu, I beg, just 2 minutes.
It's actually-
Like that past election, there's nothing that reflected tribalism, more than that election. Because if you are talking about tribalism, all the Igbo people voted Tinubu, voted Peter Obi. What will you call that?
You are very
Does
correct. It's not
it matter?
tribalism. We call it the
No,
KKK
no, no.
state, the Kadashan
So
state,
why is it
Kaduna.
that
Does it matter?
people in the
They
north, voted
they
their
Praise,
voted
people?
Buhari
why
in US.
praise?
People in
No,
the southwest voted their
no,
people.
let
But
me
now we
say,
are still
let
talking
me
about
say,
tribalism.
we go to the
That's
Kardashian
the
state
highest
result
tribalism.
every election.
That is where he had the
Kaduna state,
highest votes.
Kaduna,
The east,
Kano,
Peter Obi
Kebbi,
had the highest votes. The east. What are you gonna
and
call that? Is
Katsina,
it tribalism?
they all voted for Buhari in 90 something percent. Like, and we did not call it tribalism when they did that. Let's stop doing that. You cannot carry the goalpost when it is convenient for you. KKK states, Kardashian states, they always give their votes to Buhari. 100, you see, 99% vote, 1 point something million. You heard their banging numbers. Nobody says tribalism. No, when the Igbo voted
Politics. Let,
99%.
a lot of people forget. A lot of people forget that politics is not a religious organization. Politics is about
No,
number. Politics is about canvas relationship. Tinubu choose who he choose because of numbers. Tinubu wanted that number, so
tribalism,
he
because
knew
Jonathan was
that
not
the
the
North is gonna give him votes. So and he did his
All
thing.
right, Praise.
Politics is
No,
Thank you.
politics is different
Praise,
from
thank you
church
for your 2
politics.
minutes.
Politics is pure
Kachi,
he
politics.
Kachi,
And
gave
I
a block.
and
Kachi,
you're a
give me
big
a
fan of
moment, I
Trump,
beg. I
oh,
beg,
and you
I
support
beg.
Trump like this. Me, I
No
dey.
lie,
So if I
Praise
dey
and
no
choose,
Kachi.
now
lie,
which
Worst
one go
mistake
vote
you
for?
ever
no
make.
lie.
Argue with a Tinubu supporter.
Praise and Kachi. You see,
Omo,
why
na power that that too.
why I like this and why I like this is because it shows that both of you are
Can you
passionate
not allow
about
me
Nigeria
to?
and you care about
Allow me
Nigeria.
to decide. Omo, what
Tinubu
I say,
supporter.
I go arrest you. Ha! Hey God.
So with this
Arrest Praise.
passion that you people have for Nigeria, right?
Praise
Make we at least
doesn't
today, if
have
we're
passion for
living,
Nigeria.
let's live with 1 or 2 solutions that we will personally carry out. Now, Kachi, you had a moment to say what you would do. Emmanuel, you had one. Praise, we gave you the moment to say what you do. You say you bring Tinubu or something, but that's by the way. Now, me, look, look, I want to share a personal story, right? Because I love Nigeria, die, and I love Lagos to be specific. When I was in Lagos, I enjoyed life. Like life was rich in Lagos. A lot of people say Lagos is chaotic, it smells, is this, but the experiences you will get in Lagos, you won't get it anywhere else in the world. Lagos is like
Yes.
LA meets New
Syndrome,
York
Adam.
meets Vegas. It's
Too
beautiful. It's
sweet.
organized chaos. Like I love Lagos. I would carry Lagos on my chest any day, anytime. I'm not Yoruba, but Lagos gave me something that I cannot quantify. However, I did not have money in Lagos. So reluctantly, I had to leave Nigeria, leave Lagos to come abroad for a better life. Because if say I continue to do Lagos, I for don't turn a shower by this time. Like see me see a shower walk very close. That's why my mother said, "Come and be leaving, come and be going." And I came to Australia. Now it wasn't easy. We would just say, "Oh, leave Nigeria." It's only people that have money that can leave Nigeria. Paying school fees is not cheap. It's not cheap at all. It's
At
very
all.
expensive. So it's a luxury to be able to afford what it takes to leave Nigeria. Now, for me, when I was leaving, it was hard. It took years of saving, and several people contributed for me to be here today. And one vow I made to God was that God, if you help me come out of this thing, I would help at least 2 more people. I
Fire.
that's it. Like it was like hellfire. It was like breaking out of prison. And for me, every time I'm talking to fellow Nigerians, especially Nigerians in the diaspora, I like to find out, okay, what are you doing to help other Nigerians? We will spend hours and hours complaining about what is not working, politicians, this, that, that, but we never come up with one thing that we want to do, one action that we can do to help within our own small circles. All of us here now, if we send $100 back to Nigeria, we'll pay somebody's school fees. If you create a business in Nigeria, you will feed somebody. So there's many
Yeah.
things we can do within our capacity that we overlook. Like
Tinubu.
praise now, you're talking about starting a charity in Nigeria. So these are
It's
the things.
charity
Like
for Tinubu's children.
if you help one
So
person in the family
the
leave
comment,
Nigeria, they will help the rest of their family members. Like all of us on this call now, our families are doing okay. They've escaped poverty because one person has broken out.
yeah.
So from each family, just help one person escape poverty, then it's that person's responsibility to help the rest of their families. Now, what I want to hear are no
It's
more
solution.
problems,
Kachi,
no more
put your
this.
hand down. You
How
don't talk,
can we
tire.
how
Now
can
that
we do
person go
this
talk.
on a
Yes.
scale and get more
So I
people
work in the
involved?
healthcare field. I work in the healthcare field, and I realized that drugs are really expensive. This period, my grandma was shot. In like 2 weeks, we had spent almost 400K on hospital admission, medications, and so on and so forth. So I decided that, one thing, I was like, now, I'm not rich, but at least I'm not poor. And we could afford it. And I know how stressful it was for us. So I could imagine what people are really going through medication wise. So in September, I'm working on a small medical outreach. If you want to support, the target is about 200 persons, provide them with free consultation, medications. We have a team of volunteer doctors and nurses already. So if you can get just support to be able to buy the medications, have the free consultation and everything like that for at least 200 people. That's the target.
No worries,
in September.
Patrick, we don't hear
Yeah.
you. This is what we do. This is what we do in Daper. We've had a lot of charity come to us. We've supported. We've hosted charity events. You know what I'm saying? You know, we've done this. I myself, I have something in the pipeline that I'm trying to push. In
Yeah.
Nigeria, it's gonna be a massive project. It's like a senatorial kind of project. And I've seen a lot of people, say comment of disappointment, blah 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 blah. I mean, at the end of the day, this is Daper. This is what we
Yeah.
do. And at the end of the day, we have our own personality, and then we have our own job, and we have our own political view. Do you understand? So if my
No, I
political
don't
view doesn't
understand.
align with your own, you can take my other. You can embrace my other personalities. We cannot be on the same page when it comes to politics. I'm different like that. I have my reason why I do what I do. I'm a politician, by the way. So don't come at me. That's
I will
politics.
come at
Politics
you.
is not a
I
religious
will come at
organization.
you with my
Politics is
full hand
politics.
lecture.
Everybody in politics, has their own interests. That's how it is. But that is just that. But if you are doing this, we are more than happy to. I will be more than happy to put, obviously to support and all of that. I'm in Australia, by the way. So no
Send me
worry
an address.
yourself.
I hope you can find. Send that.
We go talk.
I hope you can find.
I go call you. After this live, I will call you on the phone. No worry.
So I think
Big fight.
to your question, I think the way you can support, like I told you earlier, again, and like you mentioned, find someone, pay school fees for them, provide some form of support, medical. Nigerians have basic needs at this point: food, healthcare, school fees, education, which are like under Maslow's hierarchy of needs. They don't even they don't need so much. So if you can just, again, remember, as you're trying to support anybody, you need to protect yourself, so that you don't become a target also. But if you can find one or two persons, pay school fees for, you can do it anonymously if you want, maybe through an NGO, through other people. Sometimes people like the one my friends did recently, they just went to a school, asked for the list of students that not paid their school fees and paid it anonymously and left. So nobody could trace them and so on and so forth. So all those kind of small things, some of them donated, writing materials to school. I donated writing materials to school too. I just did it, no pictures, no story, nothing. And that way nobody knows whether you did it or not. So these are small ways you can help, because if we want to wait for the government, like we said, a lot of things will not get done. And to effect change in Nigeria, now civil servants go first frustrate you, like I told you earlier. So so just do it from from the parts you can do, the ones you can handle, and start with that, no matter how small, and then you can work your way up from there.
Like I'm of the opinion of donating anonymously, but the only downside to that is you don't get to inspire other people, right? Like you can go on your friend's page and you see, my friend is giving 200K, is helping feed children. That day, I get one careless 200K, you will now contribute. So it's quite dicey. Like you don't know how to manage that kind of situation. But anyways, we'll pray for God's guidance. Emmanuel, do you have anything to add in terms of what you feel is a low-hanging fruit that can start to help, better our country? I won't say our country, is the people, not the country itself. The country is just a location.
It's the people
Educate
that
the
make the
people
country.
to vote the better leaders.
Thank you for your time.
I agree with you, Manuel. That's really important.
100%.
All right.
Are
you not going to ask me the low-hanging fruit? What's that?
No, you're out of the game.
No.
You cause the problem.
Don't say that. Don't say that.
You cause the problem.
See. There's always this saying: you teach them how to fish than to give them fish, right? So education is key to me.
Yeah.
And education and then skills as well. So we educate them and let them learn, a whole lot of other skills. Like I'm a big fan of technical schools. You learn, and then you have a skill. So if we can do that as well, there are a lot of, what was that called? Like all this, like makeup, um, just giving them same machine, like let them learn how to do something. Seamstress, tailors, whatever, cinematographers, teach them how to get them in schools, get them in this contact, learning how to shoot videos, all these kind of things. I think that would be a good call. That would be a good call, to start, like a good trajectory to me, if you ask me, rather than just, buying like school bags, shoes, all these kind of things. How about a kid that doesn't really want to go to school? How about a kid that just wants to learn how to play football, learn how to play piano, learn how to play sports, for example?
But
Tennis, basketball.
they
There's
need
a
the
whole
basic
lot. There's a whole
education.
lot.
Yes, but they still need like the basic primary education. So if
It's
you want to,
free.
I mean,
It's free.
you cannot educate someone with
The
literacy.
basic primary education, the basic primary education in Nigerian context, constitution is free up till like I think
Stop it.
secondary school. I think it's when you start going to university that's free.
Yes.
But that's it. Unless you want to start looking at
Out of touch
private
with
school, but it's free
reality.
now.
No, it's not free.
Have you learned?
It's not true. And you are out
Have
of
you
touch.
you're a civil servant? Have you learned the new national anthem?
Look, you will refer to that. I knew
Yes.
that answer
Where did
before
that
you
come
people came
from?
about it. Like since I was a child. So it's out of the question. But no, primary school is not free in Nigeria. Don't be deluded that it is. It's not true. There's
No,
not
it's free now.
free
I mean,
anything
there are
in that
primary school.
country.
But you are not going to blame us, the citizen, if the teachers are not better equipped to teach them.
Yes,
That's what I mean. Like,
I agree. I'm
we
not
can only
blaming.
just do our part as citizens. So the government has a thing
Yes,
to do, and then the teachers have. Is there motivation? We did not vote for someone, and then we cannot talk. Obviously, there's hardship, and then we've been speaking. Someone like me, I use my platform, I speak. There's a lot of hardship. I canvass for minimum wage. Minimum wage should be more than 100 grand because things are so expensive. Do you understand?
Oh, that's
So
actually
it is not just about we voted and then we don't talk. We criticize, with wisdom. Do you understand? And then again, we
you
cannot tell
voted
a
the person that will
teacher.
not increase the minimum wage, so you can
no,
complain about the minimum
Thank you
wage.
guys for all your contribution. This
I
this
don't
has
understand
been
this
a
guy.
very insightful conversation. We are coming to the end, and I feel like hopefully people who are watching would have benefited one or two things, right?
I
If
don't
you
think
didn't
they
benefit
benefited
anything at
anything.
least, I hope you enjoyed Kachi's stories. At least be entertained.
And
both
let's
both
pray.
carry
We
entertainment.
enjoy Kachi's story, but let's pray for Tinubu to succeed. That's that president. Whether you like it or not, that is our president
let's
for now.
pray. Open church if you want. If you want, open a church for people to
Kachi,
succeed.
Kachi, thank you so much for joining this live. This was very interesting. We will do another part. We can't finish the conversation in one go. So thank you, and enjoy Sydney, by the way.
Thank
To all
I'm
our
fine.
people in the comment section, thank you for sharing, thank you for enjoying. Peace out.